We have arrived. It is the grand finals of the Wild Hunt in Philadelphia, an all-day affair here for everybody in the studio. Can I get a round of applause from everybody who's been hanging around, watching this great event all day long? I am McBeard. I am joined once again for the finals by Joe Snow. We are going to see DrGrrrr, whose narrative and story we've been following for the last 3 matches, against trynet, a dark horse who has been silently dominating this entire matchup for the grand finals. How hyped are you right now, Joe Snow?
I am beyond hyped. I can't wait to see this final. I don't know if we should just start DrGrrrr off at 0-2 and just move along with the process so we can see another reverse sweep. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The level of play has been great, and we haven't seen trynet on stream yet, so I'm pretty pumped.
It's really good. I mean, we had a really great showcase of everything there. You see trynet on the screen there. Flake, we're going to go to you on the floor as well. Who do you have next to you, and what do you think about this finals matchup as we get into the final best of 5 here to crown a champion and get that belt adorned on the rightful winner of Wild Hunt Philadelphia?
Well, McBee, Joe, it has all come down to this. It has only been about 15 hours of solid, non-stop Gwent action. We are all just hyped up and ready to not just put this one to bed, but to just give it the final send-off. And this prize right here, which you guys have been staring at for a while, I have no control with me who has put this tournament together. He is the mastermind, the heart and soul behind the entire thing. No control. How excited are for you? You put so many months of work, blood, sweat, tears, all that together. Here it is, the finals. How are you feeling?
It took me like 3 months to put this thing together. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit sick. And, to see it finally culminate, it's just been a pleasure.
See, as you can see, he is just...
I've been yelling at people all day, too, so my voice is completely shot.
His voice is shot. He's been doing more talking than I have, which is in itself just immense, considering that we're on our... 13, 14, or 15? I don't even know. Math is gone. But
12? No,
13.
14.
13, we're heading into our 14th
Something
hour.
like that.
Nonetheless, I mean, we are here to crown or adorn this wicked belt onto either DrGrrrr or trynet. And as McBee was mentioning, trynet coming out of nowhere, seemingly, he hasn't had any time on the main stage, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't been just absolutely eviscerating his competition the entire tournament.
Yeah, he's 3-0'd his last 2 opponents, so
yeah.
we'll see what goes on, and good luck to both competitors, of course.
Absolutely, and I mean, of course, one of the new crowd favorites of DrGrrrr, the Doctor is in, and Joe alluded to the fact that maybe it's in his best interest just to forfeit against decks he just doesn't want to see or play against. That he's just, I got no time for this. Just ban this, forfeit to that, and then I'll just win 3 times. It's just, he's just, I mean, they're all ready to rock and roll, and I think that we've been, let's, so, without further ado, we've been talking so much. DrGrrrr, trynet, they're ready to go. This is the final best of 5 for the ultimate prize in North American Gwent. That is the Wild Hunt belt behind us. We are going to be giving this to the winner of the following matchup between DrGrrrr and trynet. Let's go straight to that.
All right, guys, we're going to get into that game in just a second. Joe Snow, I'm getting my second win.
Yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back. Nothing like a finals to really breathe some more life back into the casters here. It has been a long day, but this has been amazing. I want to thank everyone in Twitch, everyone who helped make this event possible, everyone outside. You guys have been great. Thank you so much, and we're right into the action.
Right into the action here. Croc on crate on DrGrrr's side, taking back the red seat, trynet in the blue seat, bringing in Dagon Deathwish, and we're going to see what trynet's secret here is. We haven't heard a peep out of him. He has just been, like I said, just kind of taking care of business. I'm going to get his full record here on the screen, or not on the screen, but just in front of my screen here, so I can tell you that, he just eked in there. He went 4-2. He was in the 6th seed, and he's taking on DrGrrrr here, who's the 4th seed, who went 5-1, as the mulligan just gets completed here on trynet's side.
Yeah, this hand is looking pretty good over here for a Dagon opener. I'm liking the start here. Sort of have a little bit of everything that you're looking for. You have Larry the Arc-Spore, you've got a Dow, you've got some ways to take advantage of that, you've got some powerful golds. This is looking like a really solid hand here for trynet.
Hopefully everything is going okay on trynet's side here. I think we're just going to make sure that everything is going all right. It looks like gameplay is going to be starting here. I think everything is just fine here. I think there was just some last minute Oh, that's what's going on here.
Yeah, it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with the hand cam at the moment.
Got it.
And there we go. Easy
Got it.
fix, easy fix.
All right.
So, what do you like starting off here if you are trynet? I'm thinking it's
Ooh.
an easy board to develop a Larry. Just get him on in there and start the damage over time ticks.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the open pass might be what trynet is thinking about. He's got his hand over the coin here. He's going to go for the open pass. Just might as well just like DrGrrrr. Go ahead, my friend, because you know what? Deathwish has so many ways of keeping around in favor. Having that extra card, you got Woodland Spirit, you got Dagon, of course, double Foglet coming out, you have the Dow, you have the Griffins, Cyclops able to really kind of push so many points out and then close it out with something like Brewis and Ozrel. I think the trynet is just thinking that he has no issue keeping control of the game after this, and is just going to go ahead and take the card as he draws into the Mandrake and another Cyclops. Barbagazi, but no Griffin, but he is running Griffin. He has 3 Griffin, actually, so he's probably going to mulligan away one of these Cyclops. Try to find that, make sure that he has something to kind of proc the Dow and still keep the Dow in for the double proc on Barbagazi, perhaps. Cyclops, he's not. He's actually happy to keep the Cyclops.
Yeah, this is really interesting here. That's a lot of Cyclopses and not a ton of actual Deathwish units. So I'm curious to see how he's going to try and employ that. Maybe he was really scared of bricks. I imagine that, yeah, we're going to see him develop the Woodland Spirit here, and this is part of the reason he's able to go for a 2-round game instead of a 3-round game with the dry pass here. The damage over time favors longer rounds. This is going to guarantee you longer rounds since you effectively really didn't have a first round. And yeah, I think the fact that he's planning on playing both Fogs this round is the reason he didn't mulligan a Cyclops.
You know, it's interesting. I figured that he was holding on to the Cyclops because he really wanted to control stuff like long ships, but in that respect, wouldn't he have played Dagon first so he had a bigger body for the Cyclops to throw? And actually, I mean, it still isn't enough to take out a long ship, but it gets more of the job done. So I'm not really sure if that's the case, if it was more of a control mindset for trynet, or if he just feels like the Cyclops is ultimately just going to give him a little bit more tempo swing here as he's going to develop the Archospore. Now he's got 2 engines going. He's going to have 3 with the second Fog. And, of course, he has lots of ways to make the Dow work for him on top of that.
Yeah, I think he's just looking at the Cyclops as more towards the tempo aspect that you talked about in the latter half there. I really do believe that he's probably going to develop the second Fog here unless he's a little bit weary of the Grimace. This is looking okay. The Woodland Spirit probably came down just because it's the most raw points. And, you know, if you're going to employ this type of strategy, it's really important that you do not fall behind.
Now, this is not a Nova list that trynet is running. He is running a triple Griffin, triple Cyclops, triple Archospore list with Woodland Spirit, Wispus Tribute, Brewis Ritual, and Gels, as he's going to be thinking about developing the Dow here. And, you know, it's interesting. We haven't really seen very much from trynet. We haven't really seen the games that he's been playing. I wonder how many times he's looked at the blue coin and done the open pass. I wonder if that's a technique that's been working for him over the course of his entire day here at the tournament, as both of these players have played a lot of games.
They certainly have, and yeah, that's a very legitimate question because we haven't seen a ton of the dry pass to open rounds on the feature matches, but it's entirely possible that a player like trynet could have been employing that strategy all day here. We see the Ocfist come down, which was very, very crucial in some of DrGrrr's earlier series, and really made the Phoenix look very, very good. I haven't seen so many Ocfists go off in a few patches.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I haven't had the pleasure of casting a DrGrrrr, but I definitely have been watching his use of Croc into the strengthened Ocfist, the use of the Bone Talismans to heal the Ocfist back up, the use of the Phoenix to bring back exhausted Ocfist back, which is still an 18-point play if it gets up to 13. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that DrGrrrr can do to preserve Ocfist, and when you stand around against this Ocfist, you're putting yourself at risk here, as he's going to go ahead and just put the damage on Ocfist, but there's a lot of healing that's available here as the Clan Protector is going to come down with the Bone Talisman, bring it back up, and give it an extra little boost up to 13 here, which is going to make this a little bit harder for trynet to deal with. And he hasn't been seeing this. He's been busy in his own world, like DrGrrrr has been putting on an Ocfist clinic for everybody.
He really has. This almost seems like an Ocfist-themed deck. I mean, the Crack-On Crate, being able to bring it out every game, a way to bring it back. You have multiple ways to heal it in this list. This seems like Ocfist is basically the center point of his entire deck, which is sort of unique because you often don't see that in silver cards. Usually bronze cards are more of the core of the deck since you get to play up to 3 of them. But the Ocfist really seems very, very crucial to this deck's success.
trynet doesn't seem interested to give it another shot here and try to do the damage, possibly because he thinks that maybe there's another way that DrGrrrr can preserve Ocfist's life, but that means he's fine going into this and letting Ocfist go off, which is pretty wild, not just because that's card advantage, also now a 16-point Ocfist, just making it look better and better. But also when Octopus finally triggers, he's going to get a lot of that value back as trynet already has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 units on the board.
Yeah, it's a lot of points, and you get the card back here. I mean, are we really in the world where we got to start using multiple Cyclopses to take down this Octopus? That might be his only hope here.
And again, you know what? It happened so fast, I was just not even considering the open pass. trynet doesn't have a choice.
Yeah,
trynet doesn't have a choice.
The world we're in now.
With the advanced knowledge of Octopus, maybe the open pass wouldn't have been the favored thing to do here, because at this point, DrGrrrr can just keep this going, forcing trynet to deal with the fact that basically DrGrrrr is going to get that card back. You want to open pass on me? That's fine. I'm going to get that card back, and I'm going to look at doing it. It's going to make Octopus back down to a 10 here.
Every turn.
Oh, man.
Basically this entire round.
What a roller coaster ride for poor Octopus here, but it looks like he's still going to be able to go off, but the Cyclops will threaten here, and it looks like it's possible.
We've got units to throw at it. It's entirely possible that he circumvents this problem, and it seems really important to do here. I'm curious if we then see the Octopus get restored. How many times are we going to see this thing change strength and come back into play? But yeah, as you were alluding to earlier, the Octopus is much more powerful in a round like this that your opponent has to stay in. Since DrGrrrr, took round one easily. Yeah, his opponent's just locked into this. They have to deal with it.
And that looks like it's going to get dealt with here, as there is the 8-point Drowner, which is going to go right into Octopus' face. So there is at least that much taken care of. But the Udalric, unanswered here, does get DrGrrrr ultimately that card back that the open pass of trynet was able to secure. But now DrGrrrr is in a position where, he's just still in the bleed roll at this point. Does he still want to keep doing that? He'll always be able to go on even if he's able to keep trynet into this round, which is fine. It's possible that he wants to restore, but it looks like he's just fine going into even cards here. trynet will be acting first. He won't get that last say, but his hand is very, very strong. DrGrrrr would love to draw that Phoenix.
Yeah, I think that pass there was maybe DrGrrrr being a little fearful of something like Frightener, because there was such a point gap that would essentially be free.
Wispa's Tribute, no interest there, because I do believe that the Mandrake was played,
and
that was it. Yeah.
Was the Monster's Nest played or mulliganed? I believe we saw it in the hand earlier.
Well, trynet quickly mulliganed away Tribute in that situation. Not really interested in holding on to it. DrGrrrr with the Phoenix is really, really good pull here, because we do know Octopus was reduced back down to 10 by the Mandrake, by trynet, but it is still something that can be threatened. The counter is still at 1. Refresh my memory, Joe. Does that counter go back to 4 on the res?
I'm about 99% certain that it's going to go back to 4. I wouldn't say 100%, but yeah, I do believe that that's the way the card interaction works when it comes back. You don't often see it, so it is a bit of a niche interaction. And as we see here, choosing to develop the Larry the Archospore, get some damage over time ticking that's not row-specific like the Dagon. I expect to see the Dagon come down as the next play. Really start trying to min-max on all these damage over time effects.
Restore on the Bearmaster, a very popular 19-point play here, which is going to set up a great row for Dagon here. Another Foglet's going to be coming out. 2 Foglets on the deck now are out of the deck. Lots of potential here with the Ghoul and Ozrel being able to be putting up stuff in the high teens. Barbagazi will be able to proc the Dow after the Griffin is able to also proc it, and Cyclops for that extra removal wherever it may be necessary. DrGrrrr, on the other hand, is able to develop some engine, bring back Octopus perhaps for just a little bit of extra push, although card advantage not as important, since that body does just kind of go up and come back down again. But with Olaf in hand, that extra, he's got Olaf and Sirinova. DrGrrrr, so many points in his hand right now.
That's a lot of power in that hand. It's just Haymaker after Haymaker after Haymaker. And I do think you get some value from if you can allow the Octopus to trigger. So we're going to see how aggressively he tries to pursue that option. As you said, I don't think it's nearly as important when the card advantage doesn't really matter, but getting the trigger is still going to be worth a significant amount of points here. There's already 5 units on the other side of the board, shows no signs of slowing down, and every time the Death Wish on that Dow procs, it's going to add 2 more units to the board.
It's just such a hulking deck, Olaf and Sirinova. It's so ambitious.
Yes, hulking's a great way to put it.
And like on top of this awesome Octopus interaction, just so much to worry about in DrGrrr's deck. It's just, and then on top of all the stuff that's making Skellige very good right now, Bearmasters, restored Bearmasters, ship engines, Corsairs making threats continue to come back, and of course Udalric being able to secure that card advantage where trynet wasn't able to get the Frightener in his hand, even though he did have the open pass. DrGrrr's being able to take back control of this game, as trynet's going to do whatever he can to get points, but man, does he have a lot of points to make up.
He really does. This deck seems like it almost never runs out of threats. I'm wondering how effective a bleeding strategy would even be against something like this, even if you're able to draw an Olaf or a Siri Nova. It's like the hits keep coming with this this crack list. Concocted by DrGrrrr. This is my first time seeing a deck list like that, and I've been really impressed by it.
It's just so awesome that he's coming in with a list this fresh, and I think that, there's one thing to say about the surprise factor, but a really good opponent will be able to figure things out. But this just isn't so much a surprise factor of a new technique. This is a lot of Skellige staples, but just putting in powerhouse cards and just a little bit of extra secret sauce here with the Octopus play, and actually having a support system that supports Olaf, but still ends up supporting Siri Nova on top of that. And with trynet's open pass, I think that he really just didn't expect this level of threat, which he still hasn't even seen it yet. We see it, of course.
Yeah, the
trynet's
threat
about to
density in this deck is
experience.
so high. Yeah. He's about to experience the full power of it.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious. I don't think we know if these two players had met or maybe played next to each other over the course of the day. I don't know if any of them have any idea what's going on in each other's deck list. But the open pass looks a lot more curious when if you were to know about the Octopus. Although there's really no way to expect that if you didn't know straight up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just curious. DrGrrrr and trynet actually did meet in round 3 of the Swiss.
Very interesting.
trynet actually 2-0 to DrGrrrr.
Wow.
Handing DrGrrrr his only loss.
So this is a redemption tale as well.
So interesting that the trynet would open pass on this deck. It's possible that he didn't see this deck. It's possible that he banned this deck. It's also possible that DrGrrrr didn't even bring this deck into the best of 3.
Yes, this
could have been the deck that he relied on for the semis, the secret deck, to do that extra domination.
Oh, and it looks like, was that a dead Corsair coming down?
Was that a dead Corsair?
I believe it was. I think there was 2 boats developed.
Is the Siri Nova not going to be enough here? Whew. Oh dear.
Wow.
All of that stuff that we said.
All of that stuff that we said, and I mean that goes to show the power of a dead card here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Trynet
just getting there.
4 turns ago feels like a lifetime away, Joe. That
really
seemed like
does.
just so many points in DrGrrr's hand. What happened?
If you told me that result was going to happen, he was going to win by 30 points, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have thought you were crazy.
I was looking at the bracket to get a really good piece of juicy narrative. We talked about the redemption tale for DrGrrrr, but it looks like trynet's going to go up 1-0 in this finals match. DrGrrr's got his work cut out for him here, because now the secret is out. If that was something that trynet wasn't suspecting, trynet stoically just waiting for the next game. This guy is cold, calculated killer, Joe Snow.
He really is, but you got to be weary, though, because he's getting DrGrrrr in his comfort zone. DrGrrrr likes to go down 0-2 and then just come back and smash on one deck. Maybe that was, I'd be interested to talk to him and see if there was a targeting strategy that maybe his lineup is very, very good against one particular deck. And since you do need to get a win with each deck here, yeah, all you really need to do is shut your opponent down from winning with one.
trynet shifting gears now into Alchemy. John Calvert. Oh, I apologize. It's not. It's actually John Calvert Spies. As DrGrrrr is shifting into a King Henselt, probably praying for that red corn. That was me trying to make a joke too fast, and then I just mumbled everything up. But probably just hoping that he is able to go second in this matchup here, as Henselt is able, and he does get to go second.
Yeah, there's
looks
another
at that
red
blue
point
coin.
for DrGrrrr. I wonder if we're going to see the same type of open pass strategy here. Spies is a deck that really does gain a lot of strength in a long round, and we've definitely seen trynet's propensity to open pass.
Oh,
yeah, he's going for it again.
Looks like this may have been a strategy that trynet's been employing all day long, as DrGrrrr is going to, Ronvid is a fine play. Keep things going here, kind of get that carryover a little bit. Not really carryover anymore, but at least making sure that Ronvid comes back, does extra work.
Ronvid can also sort of block your Scorches for at least a portion of the game until the brigades really start to grow. So getting it down here has that additional value, but it looks like the Winch is going to be the play here. Just developing a Ballista, throwing it onto the board, potential Shawnee target if he needs to go that route. Never bad to have some extra machines laying around.
I didn't even get a chance to talk to trynet. He's always been in the middle of a game every time I've been out on the floor, so I didn't even have a chance to really look over anything that he's been able to do. All I did was just kind of saw him floating up in the top 8 at any given time. This open path strategy must have been working for him, because he's been dismissing this blue coin like it's been nothing so far in this finals.
He really has. And if you notice this time, he took a lot less time to think about it, whereas in game 1, maybe he was a little more apprehensive about it, possibly because of the Octopus. Oh, and look, DrGrrrr says, you're going to open past me. me, I'm open passing you, bro.
One round, Gwent.
It's going to be a lot of cards here.
It's going to be a long round. It's going to be a very, very...
Come at me, bro.
This is not the first time we've seen this in a major tournament, so we're going to get to see a little bit of one-round Gwent, as everything is going to come down to the 12-plus cards in each player's hand. And, man, taking spies into a long round, that's good.
It's brave.
That's some good
It is
stuff.
brave. Dr.
Very
Grrrr is
brave.
showing no fear here. And stealing the Ballista back, potentially making it so that Shani could be a dead card. Yeah, you see the smirk on Dr. Grrr's face there. I think that was the thought process behind that play.
It's interesting because a lot of the action happens on Spy's side of the board. There isn't a lot of control, and there isn't a lot of unit killing, well, except for Menno, of course, being able to vaporize a infiltrator unit. But that's probably something that's going to happen later. The muzzle could actually play a part as well. Putting Shani in a tough spot here.
Yeah, I mean, Muzzle is just very, very good against the Hensel deck in general. You can basically take any one of their machines or their Siege Masters, potentially deny their Hensel. It's a decent little swing. It can mess with their strategy. Fortunately for Dr. Grrrr, we do see that there's plenty of options here with just one Battering Ram in hand, one Siege Master in hand, and multiple winches to pull a bunch of machines. So if Trynet's going to attempt to deny all Hensel targets to try and brick the leader ability, he certainly has his work cut out for him.
Trynet's going to see so much of his deck right now. None of the emissaries are going to look at any other emissaries, so every emissary is going to pull out one of the other bronze units in his deck. He's holding the 3 emissaries, so he's been able to pull out let me just make sure that I got the deck list in front of me. He's going to have the Enforcers and the Brigade. He's running a 3 of core, so it's got the Enforcers, Brigade, Vikavara Medic, Infiltrator, and Emissary. He's not the only one running a list like this. I do believe Ivan was running a very similar list. John Calvert as well, and not Emir Spies, not Usurper Spies. Bringing Calvert back, old school spy action
It
here.
is very old school. It's really
nice.
cool to see.
There's been a couple of old school decks. We've seen a little bit of old school Skellige, Vischer repping the
loving it.
Blacksmith. There's been so much going on here, and we've seen a lot of decks and a lot of skill on display here in new and exciting ways. And I don't know, the Gwent meta is so good right now. I honestly believe that.
It really is feeling good right now. For as far as this round is going, one thing that I did take note of here, with the recent revert or change, however you would want to phrase it, to the Enforcers, you really want to get those down first, and it looks like Trynet hit 2 Brigades first, so those Enforcers are going to be a little bit less than reaching their full potential in this matchup, so I wonder how that's going to play out here.
Double Vico, nothing in the graveyard, I believe? So that's just going to be a dead play.
Yeah, I think...
When you're trying to min max, you don't want to draw. You want to draw and play any 1-point bronzes. So he is dying to get some of these Enforcers on the board here.
Yeah, he's been low rolling pretty hard on these emissaries. They basically can't brick forever, and there's only 1 medic left in the deck, right? You said we were playing 3. We saw 1 in round 2 and 1 here. So that potential to see double dead medic here is going to be taken off the table.
So Trynet's probably just going to keep on. Oh, it's interesting. This might be the weather play. It's going to be a long round, a long, harsh winter here. So, yeah, this is a fine play here. He's not anticipating any weather coming in from Dr. Grrrr. The weather option of Deathbolt is not as appealing as absolutely roasting an Enforcer, so I imagine he's going to keep that for control. But as things die, at least Shani has an ability to get something out of the graveyard, so Shani isn't going to be dead in this matchup at all.
No, it's not going to be dead here. The Frost is representing another 20 points. You have another 10 turns to go. And what I think this says is that Trynet is definitely aware that this Hensel deck, it's not running a Karathi Heatwave, because he's playing it to 3 rows, and he just burned his Silver Mage. So that is not a card that he's fearing, and that is a card that has been reasonably popular in some of the other Hensel lists we've seen today.
Got my eye on the Scorch, Joe. I'm looking at how the Imperial Brigades are going to be growing, and they are lined up. It could actually end up being a pretty sick Scorch as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that's going to work in Dr. Grrr's favor, and because the Brigades are growing on even numbers, it's possible that he's able to line up the taller as well. Wouldn't that be perfect?
That would certainly be something special. And if you look at Dr. Grrr's hand, how many tools does he have? Maybe he even gets all 3 of them to line up together. Maybe that's potentially
That's
why
what I'm thinking, man. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. There are just so many machines, so many tools to tweak the strength of the various different units. That could be a giant blowout. And he's got access to multiple Scorches when you consider the Villain Trettenworth as well.
So there's that Vikavara Medic's kind of haunting Trynet, but he's happy to see it this time. He's going to pull out the Emissary and keep things going. There, the Enforcer's been dying to see.
Appearance. Yeah, the Enforcer's going to come out, and it's going to be pretty solid here. he's sort of starting to run out of emissaries. He does have the Cantarella. What the Cantarella is going to find could be a huge deal here. He's got multiple looks between that and also the leader ability of John Calvate to try and find his Joachim, which is typically one of their finishers.
So here comes the Taller, but I think that the Brigades are going to be a little bit too close to 13. They're probably going to surpass the 13, which is probably fine, which means you're looking at a potential 30-point Scorch. But this actually really puts trynet in a tough position, I think, because I'm pretty sure he knows what potentially could happen to him here as these units are lined up. There's no way to really stagger them, but he needs to keep playing as spies. It's kind of the whole idea of the deck.
He does, yeah. I mean, he can see the writing on the wall. Sometimes you just have to go for it and hope they don't have it. If you're in Trynet seat, you look at your opponent's deck size, and you can see that there's still 11 cards left in the deck. There wasn't a ton of thinning since the opening rounds went pass, so sometimes you sort of just have to hope that your opponent doesn't have it, and right now they do.
Yeah, they do have it, and now everything's lined up at 13, and this is going to be the only play. So this is going to do it. This is a beautiful Scorch here. Now, we've seen DrGrrrr be really patient with Scorches here, but do you take a 26-point Scorch in a long round 3 in a finals match against the guy who's already 2-0'd you in round 3 of the Swiss? How tasty is this Scorch right here?
He's thinking about it. I would have done it 5 minutes ago. You got to slam it here and get rid of those Brigades. It's so much more than the 26 points. And plus, the Cantarella on his side of the field is actively going to be negative for when he tries to play the villain Trentonmirth later.
Light him up.
Yeah, I think you just got to play that Scorch there.
Toasty.
Looks good to me.
And
so
here comes
this one's kind of safe for now.
A little bit safe, yeah. Not totally safe, though, because we do see Villain Trentonmirth, and we do see, it looks like Deathbolt's going to roast this engine right here. Going to leave the Enforcers. The Brigade's looking like it's the bigger threat, which is interesting because of Villain Trentonmirth. What is he expecting is going to happen here as far as a large unit that Villain Trentonmirth is going to take care of?
That is a very good point. I'm not 100% sure exactly what he's trying to hit. Maybe something like multiple infiltrators is always a potential. If you look at his hand really does play, DrGrrrr's hand, that is, plays very low to the ground. So basically that 7 is very likely to stay the highest thing on his side of the board, and I don't think it's unreasonable to assume that your spy opponent is going to play something above that, particularly with Joachim having not been played yet.
And we still haven't seen Henselt here. We do see the Battering Ram and the Siege Master, 2 options here. Trynet can muzzle one of those options, of course, but I think that Henselt should have no problem finding value at some point in this matchup.
Yeah, I would agree with you. What do you think the optimal muzzle target here is? Because if you're not going to be able to deny all of them, you're going to try and deny the one that's going to be the worst for you. What are you trying to hit with the muzzle here?
I think at this point it's probably you want to take the Battering Ram, because the Battering Ram looks like it's going to spell the end for the Enforcer. Oh, he's going to go ahead and decoy the Vikovara Medic instead. I was wondering where the decoy was going to find home, but this makes a lot of sense. Going to keep going through his deck here. 3rd Enforcer, so he's been able to deal with the Brigades, he being DrGrrrr, but now he has to deal with the fact that there's 3 Enforcers on the board, which is just going to do a lot of damage here over time, and there are still multiple spy triggers to be played here. The muzzle counts as one because it does make a spy tag on the unit that is pulled over. Take that back. I was going to take that back. The Infiltrators
it does count as a spying unit, but not for you.
Not on the other side.
It's been a long day, guys.
Nice.
But look at the power of the triple Enforcer here. We're looking at double Infiltrator. The Infiltrators are now 16 points here. So he goes for the Ballista. That's a very interesting choice here.
But he does have the second Ballista in hand here. So DrGrrrr, I don't know if we would say he baited the muzzle, because I'm sure that DrGrrrr does not really have a the last Ballista is still in his hand, so the Siege Master is going to be able to get a ton of value here, because the Siege Master is going to be what's going to be activating, be a pseudo 3 Ballistas.
Yeah, the Siege Master is looking very, very good here, and it doesn't look like the John Calvite way deck has a good way to handle it. The only way would be something like Infiltrator into Menno that we can currently see in the hand, and that takes 2 turns. I feel like if that Siege Master sticks, it's going to get Henselted the next turn immediately.
It's important to note also that Trynet is running Kahir in this deck, and that's not a great gold in this situation, since Calvite hasn't even been played yet, and we are coming to the end of round 3.
That is very true.
He's only got 5 cards left in his deck, and it's possible. I'm trying to see exactly what he might see. We do know that there is a Rainfarn, there is a Joachim Dovet, Kahir, of course, we've seen, and I do believe that there is still an Infiltrator as well.
Yeah, the Joachim looks like it's just going to get fed right to the big fiery dragon, though, right?
Yeah, I think that may be it. that may be it, and it's going to be we're one turn away here from Villain Trettenworth coming down to catch some value here, and if it's not a lineup of 10s, it's going to be whatever Joachim pulls, because there's not a lot of options left for trynet here. He's got Calvet, he's going to have one good play, ultimately trying to take down something with Menno. There isn't even a great Menno target. These are all
really
little,
not.
like you said, low to the ground. That's the best he has to work with here.
Yeah, it's when you think Spies one long round, all of their engines are going to be online, you're thinking a very powerful force, and it looks like DrGrrr's Hensel deck is just piece by piece dismantling Trinet's Spy deck here.
And now Trynet maybe not being able to, Trynet can kill the battering ram with Menno, which would put Henselt in a, I mean, I'm not sure if there's any trip. Hold on, I can be very sure just by taking a peek here.
We can be very sure.
We can be very, very sure, but there is no trebuchet here. So if Menno is played here, Henselt may not have. Oh, well, he will have the Siege Master.
The Siege Master,
which can trigger the trebuchet. So it's still
which is okay. It's not optimal.
It's
for
better
him,
than
though,
nothing.
here.
Definitely better
certainly
than nothing.
better than nothing. You really just need to get those units on the board. Everything else is sort of gravy on the top, and it looks like Trynet's really debating this play here.
Going to do his best to deny.
I'm liking the Menno here.
Yeah, I think that this is what you have to do just to limit the power of Henselt. But Henselt is still able to activate on the Siege Master, so there is going to be some work done here in a pocket as well. Villain Trettenworth does
there
have
goes
to come
the bad
down
news.
first, though.
Trynet definitely had a reaction to that one. He is not happy to see the dragon come down.
That's the bad news for sure.
That is the bad news. Dragons usually are. So what do we do from here? Are we trying to hit the Joachim, or are we going to try and dodge it? You can't even really dodge it, though, right? Because then you're just lining up multiple 10s, which is likely to be as many or more points than whatever you get off the Joachim.
I mean, yeah, Seer will block it. Kehir is dead. Joachim does create a unit that's going to get scorched, but it does protect your 10s.
Yeah,
that's going to pull a Seer anyway.
Of a bad situation here. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be two 20s, or it's going to be a 21 to Seer.
This is a rough spot to be in. Yeah, he does not look pleased with this situation.
I mean, what is Trynet really able to do here? I can kind of see it on his face where he's just kind of going through the motions, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he's sort of resigned to this series being a 1-1, and this is the point where you just start mentally moving along towards the next game here. I mean, there's still the Henselt available, even though it's not optimal, it's still good.
Oh,
Aye, sirs decides to show up. Get in there, why not?
2 arms. Passively aggressive sips water bottle.
We've still got Shawnee in hand, too, here.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff
that use that to activate the Henselt as well.
Yeah, DrGrrrr has a lot going for him at this point. Villain Trettenworth looking at a 21-point Asir. Tasty snacks.
Very, very tasty indeed. That's turning Bork into a 31-point gold there. It's just crazy good value.
So there's the Siege Master coming back here, which means that Henselt's going to get everything he needs to get here. And a lot of value from those Trebs, at the very least.
Playing it out, no need to hit the concede button, just see if any mistakes are made here. But yeah, the writing seems to be on the wall here, and it looks like DrGrrrr is going to prove he can win a game that's not 3, 4, or 5.
Oh yeah, no need to concede or anything like that. It's the finals. We need to savor it, right?
Yeah, definitely play it out, get every little ounce of value out of it.
Here comes Henselt's going to hit that Siege Master. We're going to see the Trebuchet just probably nuke down that front row, and
we're going to be moving along to Game 3
We're going to move on to Game 3 here because Villain Trettenworth is not even required to go off here for DrGrrrr.
Didn't need the Dragonfire.
In the deep round 3 after the double pass.
Very nice.
Huge disparity. And in the end, it didn't even end up being close. The Henselt list was fantastic. We are 1-1 in the finals, my friends. Round of applause for DrGrrrr.
Maximum of 3 more games of Gwent left to decide who's going home with the championship belt, who's going to be crowned the king of the Wild Hunt tournament.
We started on February 24th. It is now February 25th.
2-day tournament.
It ended up being a 2-day tournament after all. DrGrrrr and Trynet are fighting it out for the belt and the prize pool, but really for the glory, I think.
The glory. The glory is everything here.
They've already had a lot of glorious moments here. DrGrrrr has gone through 2 reverse sweeps and beat some really great players, and Trynet has been quietly putting together a really great run, and he's gotten to the finals already. And we're going to get started on Game 3 of this Best of 5 series. We've already seen 4 decks, completely different matchups. But we're going to start seeing some stuff as DrGrrrr is going to have to go back into it with his Octavus Skellige deck, and ultimately Trynet's going to have to win with Spies if they're going to be a champ.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how these decks play out. It looks like we have the Alchemy deck here, and Alchemy versus Spies is something we haven't seen. My initial impression, Viper Witchers seem really good at removing engine pieces.
Yep. That's going to be pretty good. We're going to have two radically different John Calvert decks clashing.
Definitely.
We haven't seen this yet, and this is really interesting too. John Calvert hasn't been the leader of a spy deck in the spotlight for quite some time. Emir has been the emperor for a little bit. Trynet dealing with a third blue coin. Feels blue, man.
It does indeed feel blue, man.
Trynet once again just saying, you know what? No.
He does not like blue
no.
coins. He just doesn't mess with it. That's not how he plays.
Yeah, being able to remove engine pieces is fantastic.
Yeah, and this is also forcing the Alchemy deck to sort of play proactively because he's going to have to play into round 2 because you want to get your Calvate out to activate your Kahir and start stocking your graveyard, things like that. And the Alchemy deck isn't exactly known for having a ton of really valuable proactive plays.
Now, how do you feel about the slave drivers in this matchup for DrGrrrr? I mean, the Vico Varomedic is pretty good, but I mean, where are you making the best use of it? Because I'm thinking the Infiltrator might actually save him from a Menno late in this game.
Yeah, the Infiltrator is probably what you're looking to hit here, right? Emissaries don't seem very good. Brigades and Enforcers, it's not like you're going to play 7 or 8 slave drivers. You're really not going to be able to min-max on the synergy. I think you're right that Infiltrators are probably what you're looking for early and, more importantly, what you're looking for late.
Well, it looks like DrGrrrr is going to lead off with a slave driver here. I mean, he is able to, maybe if he develops a brigade, then he starts picking off emissaries and starts playing the spy game on his side, but I just don't think you're going to have a lot. You know, you're not going to have the same sort of resources available like Trynet will have with the multiple emissaries, Kalak as well, generating that extra one on top of that. And, you know, Trynet's able to at least muzzle something back that you can go in case an engine piece is created here. He's got to be careful of that muzzle.
I think you're absolutely correct. Yeah, Trynet was just highlighting over the muzzle, showing us he was waiting to get an extra engine piece to really, really get this rolling here. As you were saying, I think that sometimes the slave drivers can sort of build the synergy of your opponent's deck. You get a couple of pieces, but you're never going to be able to use it quite as effectively as the deck that was built around these cards. You're just not going to have the number of resources, and you're not going to get the silvers and such.
John Calvert looking at this Enforcer here, and it's really interesting as slave drivers have been changed recently, not just nerfed in strength, but also the fact that they look at multiple copies of a unit. DrGrrrr could easily be looking at Enforcer Brigade and have to play one.
Yes,
and,
this is very relevant.
And then Muzzle is there, and he gets to take that extra engine piece, which could make the difference.
Yeah, I don't think you would ever decline the option to take one, right? You're just going to go for it and hope they don't have Muzzle if you do get an unfortunate pool like that.
It would be really interesting if he ever did do that, but I mean, it's tough to say no, right? It's tough to say no.
It's tough to say no to points on your side of the board.
I'm just going to play a 1-strength bronze unit and out of fear.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if the muzzle was face up in Trynet's hand or something like that, if it was revealed, let's say. So we see the Viper Witcher coming down here, starting to remove these engine pieces. This is just going to be a very valuable tool. We do see another one in DrGrrr's hand, and I'm kind of curious whether he values more removing the Enforcers or the Brigades if he's given the opportunity.
If DrGrrrr is really a stranglehold on this match and remove all the engines, do you think he could push us for a 2-0 because there's no engine pieces left? I mean, I don't think you can eliminate every engine piece. There are 3 Enforcers and 3 Brigades in Trynet's deck, and he will have access to pretty much all of them because of the emissaries, Vico Varomedics. If he ever has a chance to maybe get Kalak in to get another emissary out as well. Joaquim is able to pull out something on top of all of that as well.
It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, look at this hand. He can play the large majority of his hand. The Ointment is one of the cards he might struggle to get a little bit of value from, and you could do something like Stefan Skellen, set up Kahir for next round, and if your opponent is able to match your point total after you play a very aggressive round 2, you're looking at a 6-strength Kahir, and how are they going to beat that with one card? So
there's a lot of options here for DrGrrrr.
Yeah, the Alchemy deck definitely provides you with a lot of options, and sequencing when you're going to play your Mahakam El versus when you're going to play your Ointments, if you want to shuffle any of these things back, properly allocating your resources with all of your different tutor effects, it's a very interesting process to go through.
Yeah, Mandrake's going to take care of one of the Brigades, perhaps, completely annihilate it off the face of the earth. On top, Skellen's going to be able to secure you exactly what you need, your win condition on top of all of that, and DrGrrrr can just really kind of keep in this until it becomes too much to bear. But I think that, with the Viper Witcher still available here, he's able to maybe shut down another one of these Enforcers if he pleases. And, of course, and delete that Brigade on top of that as well.
Yeah, the Viper Witcher is looking really, really good here. And I don't think we're going to see Trynet use any of his Enforcers to kill one of the Viper Witchers because he doesn't want them coming back, particularly not in this round. This seems to be a round that's going to go pretty long, and you don't want to give your opponent repeated access to that card in this type of matchup.
Now, Mandrake is better off deleting a Brigade because you get that extra value from the buff, or do you think it's actually worthwhile to take out the Enforcer?
I like the Brigade here. I think it's just going to be the most points. Also provides the biggest swing. We're starting to get low on spies here, right? We've already seen a bunch of the emissaries. We do still have infiltrators. We do still have Cantarella. But the lone enforcer left there, I don't think it's going to provide the same level of value here as one of the brigades. Looks like an infiltrator's about to come down. This is a decent chunk of points. With 3 engines on the board, it comes down to 16 with a little bit of flexibility. Some of those points are affecting your opponent's units, so they're pretty much in the bank and untouchable at this point.
DrGrrrr, how long is he going to stay in this match? How much does he want to bleed out? I mean, Spies has always been a very strong deck in many metas and many patches over time. It's kind of taken a backseat to Alchemy in this particular tournament, but it's always known for having a great long round with the engine pieces and a great short round with some of the tempo plays with, Infiltrator, Menno, Joachim, Rainfarm Joachim. There's lots of stuff that trynet can do in a short round here. So where's DrGrrrr satisfied here?
I think anywhere past this point, you can at least make a case for it, right? Now that the Calvate's down, so the Kihir will be active, you really want to get the Skellen down and potentially the Mandrake. But if you get a good option to pass here on equal cards, you really have to start considering that option. From this point forward, I think it was exactly this turn. So great time to ask that question.
Trynet's thinking of it. He had Cantarella highlighted, and it's interesting. He's going for it.
He is going for it. This is a powerful play. This might force DrGrrrr to make a decision that he really doesn't feel like making.
Yeah, going down 3 cards is not appealing.
It certainly isn't. And one of the cards he definitely wants to get down here is the Stefan Skellen, and it's only a 10-point play to the board.
Stefan Skellen does make round 3 a little bit better. The Mandrake is going to get him 18 points at this point, and it's just going to get better and better.
So if you're DrGrrrr and you start thinking about passing here, your opponent needs an 18-point play to pass you. What cards are you thinking about? Joachim has to be at the forefront of your mind, right?
I mean, Joachim can do it. Menno can do it as well if you want to actually spend it.
Yeah, Menno is definitely another card, and it's just right there on the board. Usually when you're playing against these type of decks, the Nilfgaard Spies deck is so consistent. It sees so much of its deck. It thins so well. You almost sort of have to give them credit for having the powerful cards like Menno the large majority of the time.
DrGrrrr going for the Skellen play with Roach on the board. Not scared to go down 3 cards here against Trynet. This is a dangerous, dangerous position here for DrGrrrr, as if Trynet gets even close to this total, it's just going to get harder and harder for DrGrrrr to really justify getting so low on cards, because, Trynet doesn't need a lot of cards to make a lot of points here. He just needs an Infiltrator and Menno. Yeah,
he really doesn't. DrGrrrr is definitely playing with fire, but we have seen that he is very willing to push these super long round 2s. We do have the Kihir in the hand of Trynet that doesn't have a target right now because his Calvate is still sitting on the board. The Asir is not particularly great at this moment, but the rest of his hand is straight gasoline.
Well, Muzzle's not fantastic either. I mean, between 5 and 9, there's nothing. So
That's fair. The Muzzle's not particularly great in this spot.
And actually, the 5 is Calvin. The Viper.
Yeah, we've got the Witchers hanging out in the back there, too. What are you thinking here? Trynet might be just a little bit perplexed at his opponent's strategy. He's like, I'm up 3 cards. What do I have to do to get you out of this round?
It's true. I mean, Trynet's just, he started playing much slower, very slow, in fact, giving his opponent points, thinking that maybe that would just be it. It's really tough to make the risk that DrGrrrr is making right now. Trynet, looking at his options here, if Asir isn't great, and if Kahir isn't great, and if Muzzle isn't great, your options are big plays like, giving up the Infiltrator, playing Menno for a huge swing, or playing Joachim. Some resources are starting to get tapped out here, and I think DrGrrrr would be happy to see those cards being played.
Yeah, it's sort of, DrGrrrr is sort of working himself into a great situation.
Oh, man.
That is a bomb. 30-point enforcers, 30-point brigade, hitting the board. That is just so powerful here.
After the Mandrake has been played as well, what a great Mandrake target that could have been.
Yeah.
But still not enough. DrGrrrr still has the opportunity to pass. An 11-point play would have to be made. Asir is that play, but it's not great. Menno, the Infiltrator is also that play, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, what are you trying to use your Infiltrator for here? You could save it if you think you can make it to the next round without having to expend your Menno. That's one school of thought. The other way to analyze it would be that you have 2 engines on the board here. You're not going to have any engines on the board later, so it's more raw points at this moment. I wouldn't be surprised if the third Infiltrator comes down. He might also starting to be resigning himself to the fact that DrGrrrr is just not giving this one up, and he's going to have to commit the Menno in round 2.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because if you play Menno, what do you do with your Infiltrator? If you play the Infiltrator, Menno is harder to get off. You have a Seer. DrGrrrr is just going to keep playing. He's going to keep playing.
You cannot push this man out of a round.
I mean, he needs to see something of extreme high value, I think, for DrGrrrr is just not convinced. So here comes one very high value play, and that's enough to actually put trynet ahead here. DrGrrrr is in a pretty rough spot.
He is, but when you look at the situation here, the Cahir is sort of the last big bomb in trynet's hand, and how big is it even anymore? He's not going to be able to play a Spy into a board full of engine pieces next round with it, and the Joachim's already gone. What is left in his deck that can really, provide the rest of the value? Cahir is great when you have powerful stuff left in your deck, but I think he's sort of starting to run out.
This is great chain right here. Slave Driver coming in here with the Infiltrator to take the Spy tag off a little bit late. I mean, there wasn't anything he could do. He had two infiltrated 13s basically.
Yes.
So Menno is going to find value here, but it's getting to the point. I mean, is DrGrrrr making the read of a century here and just going to go pushing all the way down?
I mean, he would have to. We have to assume Cahir is the card he put on top of his deck, right? So that's going to require Vilga forcing his 5-strength leader and then bringing it back, trying to make the tempo play of the century and just crossing his fingers.
I mean, it's funny you say that. My fingers are actually crossed. I was just crossing my fingers at that moment that you said that.
I mean, I want to see it. It's the most exciting of the plays.
It's true. I mean, we're here for the fireworks at this point.
Right?
It's been such a long day. Go big or go home is basically how DrGrrrr is looking to play this.
And it looks like the Cantarella is getting shuffled back into his opponent's deck as a potential brick draw. When you draw, one of these spies that doesn't do anything any longer, it's sort of lost its charge. It's just a dead card that you have to discard or give your opponent 14 points, 13.
I mean, at this point, DrGrrrr is committed. He can't pass behind after all of this work.
I don't think you can, especially not being down by 1 point. You just have to jam here, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the muzzle is 10 points. The muzzle is 10 points. Cahir is 1 point. The Infiltrator is only anything that the buff's going to give you.
On top.
Is it not?
No, he didn't burn his Calvate. It's got to be something else.
Oh, it's the Vesemir.
Vesemir into the ale. This is a
and he gets the full value, and there was a chance that it was going to whiff.
It always hits the highest one. That one actually does.
My mistake.
I've made that mistake so many times before. You have no idea.
20 to 1 o'clock in the morning, my friend. Have mercy on me.
Look at that play, though. 36 points now. And trynet's going, what do I do? I can't push this guy out of a round. I played everything. I did it all right. What can I do?
DrGrrrr has had it with the open passes is basically how this is looking.
And he's just sitting there cool, calm, collected. These are my cards. Can you beat them?
I mean, what can you say other than just loving DrGrrr's play here? I mean,
this is so cool.
I mean, trynet can't do it, right? He doesn't.
I don't think he can do it. He just doesn't have it. He's got what, 20 points?
That's it.
GG.
What? Oh my god! I love it. I love it.
If you see this guy on ladder, do not try and bully DrGrrrr out of a round. You will not have luck. It will not be happening.
DrGrrrr with the serious push, not scared of the open pass, not scared of going down 3 cards, not scared of, the Spy. Hey, the Spy would have pushed a lesser man out of the round, and that lesser man
probably would have pushed me out of the round.
I would have been pushed out of that round by that Spy. But DrGrrrr is so comfortable with that deck, and he really made the reads. Like, Cahir is going to be dead. Just really reading the hand raw. I just think it was just a fantastic heads-up play. Just push.
It was such a heads-up play, and you're seeing this play a lot. The make them have it play. Just put your foot on the gas and make them have it. It's been panning out more often than not.
A little bit of Squayatel here coming from trynet. An Elven deck here. The Elven, we've seen a Bruverhurg Elven line here. Let's take a look on this side of the page here. Whoops. Oh, it's actually on this list over here. Oh yeah. This is
fourth blue coin for trynet. He cannot be happy to see this one.
A little unfair here for trynet.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate thing to have happen, particularly in the finals. Let's see if he can center himself, focus himself, and try and work his way through this difficult situation while he is facing elimination here.
It is, this is the kind of thing that has been regulated in CD Projekt Red tournaments.
Yes.
trynet once again, 4th open pass.
Well, trynet's regulating it by himself.
He is regulating it by himself. It's true. It's true. DrGrrrr once again taking the round early, and we're going to go into a round 4 here. Sorry. Wow. Wow. Joe Snow, hold me up.
Round 4 is going to
Round
be
2
real
in
epic, boys.
game 4. Oh, boy.
How is this Squayatel deck beating an Okfest?
Oh, yeah. Well, he does have...
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to heal it like 9 times again.
Let's put this puzzle together, Joe. How does...
Okay, I mean, Yorvith's a start.
Yorvith is a start.
Lots of create.
But how do you finish? I mean, let's
I
take a look
don't
at
know.
Well, let's take a look at the silvers here. What is Brewer able to put together here? Nothing. Cleaver.
Cleaver, okay. Cleaver
is able
might
to do
be
it.
able to take down a Mighty Dragon. We'll have to see how
Cleaver is
this
the
one
10 you
plays
need.
out. But see, DrGrrrr, if he's aware of the Cleaver, he can play into the round a little bit. He's in no rush to get it down, and Cleaver only deals damage equal to cards in hand. So if he bleeds this down to 6 or 7 cards in hand, then slams the Okfist, it's entirely possible it gets to live.
DrGrrrr has a pretty damn good hand, too. He's got,
Yeah,
he's
it is
got
looking
all of
nice.
his golds. He's got engine pieces ready to go ahead. He's got ways to deal with most things here, and he of course can kind of bleed trynet out of resources if he's expecting the Cleaver, which you can't expect.
Yes,
he is in
this
vogue at the
before
moment.
about this hand though, and then the Skellige deck sort of just let us down out of nowhere. Last time it was played in the very first game of the series.
Ooh, he's going to take that Royal Decree. Easy pick right there. You don't want to take Eilerin.
Yeah, Royal Decree is going to be great here. He now has access to all of his gold cards, and DrGrrrr, I mean, I don't see him passing here.
I mean, have we seen DrGrrrr passing here?
Does he know there's a pass button?
Oh, I think that he's just foot dead on the gas right now. He's up 2-1 here. Match point for DrGrrrr. The belt is in his sights. It's trying
It's time to jam.
It's time
Getting
to
the
go.
boat down. Let's settle in for a long round because here we go. I mean, I would imagine he's going to look to develop another one of the light long ships here. Just start getting that damage over time going.
Oh, it looks like Cleaver is going to come down right now.
Yeah,
so this was the Okfist answer.
Really? Yeah, I think you have to kill the boat here. He started looking at the Yavin and then realized the long-term potential value of the boat and, decided to take that down. I think that's the right move if you're going to play the Cleaver here, but that was sort of the one solution we pieced together to handle what could be a very large Okfist coming down.
I mean, knowing that the Clan Protector the Clan Protector isn't in hand, but the Mandrake can heal if it needs to, of course.
Yeah, your best bet's really to get it down in one shot.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not much else that trynet's actually able to do. I mean, the big plays are Cleaver and Yorvith at this point. So, the Okfist could play to such a huge role here as DrGrrrr once again down 3 cards, not scared, just prepared.
Not scared, just prepared.
Prepared to take it as long as it needs to go. I mean, there are some cards that aren't going to work in the long round here. I mean, the Phoenix is ultimately going to need a target. So there is that much. The Restore is looking for targets as well. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, DrGrrrr is able to put a lot of points on the board, and he is able to threaten with Okfist, which will be pulled by Croc, if I'm not mistaken.
What do you think about... Yeah, I believe the Croc is going to pull it. What do you think about if he's settling in for this long round, potentially using Grimace offensively for something like a Fog? Now, obviously, without a Foglet, it's a lot less impressive of an offensive play, but if we go into a really long round, what do you think about that potential?
I mean, Grimace is always going to have a 1-point unit to put the blood-curdling roar
That's
on.
very fair.
And is also, a fair restore target if nothing else is. Generally, Pirate Captain or a Bear Master is a little bit better than that, much better than that. So, I mean, Grimace can be used just as a 15-point play in a pinch. Establishing the Fog is not that impressive, although DrGrrrr has a lead where he can go low and just try to get that extra value out of Grimace.
He certainly can. He's up by basically 30 points here.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. Cleaver's going to get Panthered here, as that is really the only option, as Panther's, the row is ultimately the only option here, as Panther
just getting some use out of it while you can before it gets bricked by its limitation in the card text of it only works on rows with 3 units or less, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So this Skjal is going to pull out the Udalryk, I believe?
It could. If the Heim isn't going to do it, Skjal is going to do it.
I'd imagine that's what he was going for here.
Yeah. Or not?
Yeah, very interesting here. What do we got going on?
Well, let's just take a look at the list here. Is it on this side? It is.
No, it was.
It was Udalryk. It was the floating on his side of the board. I wasn't sure exactly.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a strange user interface thing going on there. But the Udalryk's come down, so he's going to be securing one of those cards back at least. I'm interested to see if and when he's going to develop the Ocfist and then potentially make a giant push for points. Ocfist's ability can be absolutely devastating in a matchup like this. This is a Swarm Scoia'tael deck. A lot of its cards produce multiple units, particularly multiple small units, and if timed correctly, you can sort of even get it off before the Vanguard comes in and starts buffing everything.
Yep. And, I mean, Saskia is able to really push here. The double Vanguard buff is pretty huge. And, of course, he's got the officers able to generate a lot of value as well. One way or another through Vanguards coming back in from Saskia's pick, or just, generating the value that it normally does. Royal Decree, I believe, is Shiru, as we do see Yorveth and Saskia in hand.
Yeah, that definitely is going to get some value here. It's almost always going to have some sort of target, and if he can hold on to it until round 3, it's going to be great there as well, because as we've seen with Ciri Nova, with Olaf, this deck just keeps dropping gigantic threats. Do you think he's holding on to the Yorvith as a potential way to kill an Ocfist from hand, maybe in one shot? Because the secondary ability on it to buff all of the elves in your hand is getting worse over time.
It's true. It's trying to think about playing Shiru now, though, to stop the ship.
Yeah,
looks like he is.
Yeah, I mean, if he thinks that this round's going to go a lot longer, the ship here is just going to represent a ton of value.
I mean, trynet is a little fearful of DrGrrrr at this point, I think, because the tempo here from that extra elf, of course, Eilerin coming in here, but having to play Shiru here. Why is Trynet doesn't seem to be very happy about that?
No, he does not seem to be happy about it. Maybe he was trying to preserve the Eilerin for round 3 for an additional tempo boost to try and combat some of these giant threats that we're seeing out of DrGrrrr. It's usually not a card you're sad to see pop out of your deck, so that is a little bit intriguing.
Especially when you're fighting for a round and you're up in cards at this point. I mean, DrGrrrr has been able to push so hard here, but playing Shiru there does actually stop any potential of stopping something like Ciri Nova or Olaf with a big Scorch. As Trynet is now probably going to start trying to get huge value from the Vanguard. It's going to put a couple more elves on the board here first.
Yeah, there's really no reason. Once you're ahead, you're a little bit comfortable here. Just develop your elves, go for max value. Part of the reason he might have dropped the Shiru is because he's going to start dropping big units of his own with these officers that we see in his hand, although I don't know that they were going to reach the size of the Longship.
And here comes Ocfist.
And we're playing for at least 4 more turns.
The show has started. It is the Ocfist show that DrGrrrr has been putting on all for the last 3 series. We've gotten to know DrGrrrr very, very well, and this deck is fantastic. I think that this is awesome. I wonder if the ladder is going to be showing a little bit of Ocfist Croc in the future. I think I want to try it.
This is the first deck I'm playing when I get back to Gwen's on Monday. I cannot wait.
Card advantage is a lot, and Ocfist does secure you that. And being able to preserve Ocfist, especially heal it with the Clan Protector, Mandrake, do all sorts of stuff, make Ocfist as big as possible, drop that Phoenix. Phoenix was in the monster domain for a very long time when it was bringing back Slizzards and Forktails and some consumed variants. But now Phoenix maybe making a home in Skellige here is very interesting.
It's very easy to forget that it's not actually a monster card. It really hasn't found a home outside of that faction, but it looks to be very, very powerful in this type of deck. And Skellige's ability to increase the base strength of units just plays really nicely with resurrection effects. Apparently, Phoenix is no different.
So DrGrrrr buckling up for another 3 rounds here, and he does have plays to make, big plays to make, and Ocfist is going to have so many units to hit on top of the effect of getting that extra card back, really just kind of undoing that open pass as he puts the Clan Protector's heal and strengthen effect on the bear.
He is enjoying it. He's going, I hope you don't have Igni, dude. Look at those 313s hanging out in the front row there.
I mean, it's true. We already saw Shiru, so that would have been. I mean, the Udalric is on the board as well. We already saw Shiru, so as far as Scorches or anything like that to be worried about, we know that's not an issue. War Dancer coming in, hand here for Trynet.
Yeah, this is not where you want to see the War Dancer. It's not exactly at its best. Against an opponent who has showed that he is willing to play round 2 until he is out of cards.
I mean, Saskia is able to fix the hand a little bit and get a little bit of extra
That's
value on the board here. It's interesting. I mean, Saskia could have been used in advance to double Vanguard and put the Vanguards back in the hand before the officers played it. I don't know. How do you feel about that sequencing, Joe?
It's very interesting, and I haven't played enough of this deck myself to really know what the correct sequencing is. I don't think it worked out well in this case, but he can pull the 2 Vanguards back into his hand and then play them for a very large chunk of value here. I don't actually think he's... I don't know. This round is still sort of close. It's wow. I'm just so impressed by this Ocfist deck. This is great to watch.
I mean, DrGrrr's got to put down Olaf and Nova in this, well, one of the two, but then, well, he's probably going to play one of those two and then play Ocfist again, so it's in the graveyard.
Well,
so
here's
Phoenix
the thing. That was a big turning point. We see the Panther come down, injuring the Ocfist. We now have Yorvith with the ability to finish the Ocfist, and DrGrrrr is out of ways to heal it.
Just like in the last game that DrGrrrr played this deck in, trynet was able to stagger his damaging effects around the clan protectors until all the healing effects were done. It looks like here comes the pass finally from DrGrrrr.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's sensing his opponent has a way to finish off the Ocfist. Otherwise, that play doesn't make a ton of sense. Well, I guess you could actually sort of bluff this very scenario, and that's finally what it takes to get DrGrrrr out of this round. trynet's going to be up the card here.
I mean, DrGrrrr would have to commit a huge resource.
Yes.
And having the strengthened Ocfist in the graveyard, I mean, it's possible that he would have to play that exhausted Ocfist to make the Phoenix active. Phoenix is active now. Planning to move Pirate in hand for another ship. Nova and Olaf, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. Yeah. I don't think this is over quite yet.
I don't think it's over quite yet either. I mean, you're up an entire card. That feels good. In general, the cards in DrGrrr's hand are more individually powerful, and this sort of Swarmy Scoia'tael deck does tend to struggle in short to medium-sized rounds. So let's see how this one plays out.
Double Vanguard in the hand again here for trynet, as his deck is pretty small here. And now he's got the Saskia double Vanguard play with 4 elves already on the board here, and Yorveth potentially being a 5th one. So actually, trynet has a pretty strong short round here. This is pretty dominant.
Yeah, this is sort of exactly.
Ocfist will trigger, potentially. I mean, I don't see any way of stopping it at this point.
I don't think there is. I don't know what potential bronzes he could fish out after he mulligans the Vanguards away, but it looks to me like it's going to go off.
This is a pretty great Saskia here, the double buff here, and now he can actually bring the Vanguards back in, or at least a Vanguard and an Officer. And the worst thing, of course, is mulliganing or swapping into the War Dancer.
Yeah,
you got to be really
careful
about that.
Here.
There's a greedy selection here, and there's a safe selection. He's going to go with the safe selection here with the Elven Scout. Roach is going to come out as well, and there's going to be. Ultimately, I think trynet's going to hope for some targets for Yorveth to kill so he can get a little bit of extra value here. I mean, the option here is, he's going to put Ocfist in kill range. It's not the end of the world, though. I mean,
he can always stagger with another unit, right? But yeah, Ocfist's been killed so many times in this matchup here. Let's see what comes off of the Elven Scout. This is a pretty important decision here, and I do like the line that trynet took, the conservative line there. I think that means he feels reasonably comfortable. He knows his hand was well equipped for this situation. He's just got to hope it's enough points. This looks like a tough one.
The ship can be moved by the skirmisher. It's not great. The Panther can, do damage at least. It's got his stipulation has been met here. Condition has been met here. And ultimately, what was that last one he was looking at?
The third card.
The third card.
The third card was probably
it's
fine.
The Dragoon.
Dragoon.
Don't think the round is going to be long enough, nor the cards are going to be worthwhile. It's not going to be worth it to play that one. So you're just going to go for the value play of the Mercenary, the Skirmisher, the Mercenary. The Mercenary on the movement here as Olaf comes down, a little hurt, but still pretty good.
And there we go. The Ocfist has been dealt with. That's going to remove a giant chunk of points here, and it looks like trynet's going to send this to Game 5.
trynet's going to send this to Game 5, I think. Nova isn't going to be enough. It's only going to go to 55, and trynet's still holding on to that Elven.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, you might as well go to Game 5 if you're going to go to the finals. We've been at this already long enough.
Why stop now?
Why not make this as intense as possible? As trynet's going to take this one to Game 5. DrGrrrr is just looking. What is he saying there? What does it say?
It's got to be about the blue coin.
It's got to be about the blue coin there. Red coin plays.
Oh, red coin plays. There we go.
Yeah, red coin plays.
Got to get this man a Sharpie. The pen's not really showing up that well on camera here.
A little high contrast, though, but at this point, red coin is exactly what trynet needs to, well, he doesn't need it to win, as you can see.
He certainly wants one, though, and to get this to Game 5 with all blue coins right now, particularly against an opponent like DrGrrrr that has proven very difficult to get out of rounds, a very skilled pilot here, he's got his work cut out for him. I'm really looking forward to this final game.
DrGrrrr has impressed us with this Ocfist Skellige deck, but he's looking for a win with it. He hasn't been able to secure it yet.
Yeah, maybe this is just the proper way to finish out the tournament, and let's see what trynet's going to bring up against it. It is, of course, the Spy deck again.
It is the Spy deck, which trynet has also unable to find a win with.
So the Spies do have ways, particularly he's already got the Menno in his opening hand, to handle the Ockfist without the use of damage. So the Mandrake and the healing effects are going to be significantly less effective at trying to get the Ockfist to go off here.
Dying to see this coin here. I don't want the narrative to be about the coin. I want the narrative to be about how trynet was persevering against the blue coin. Unfortunately, he will have to persevere 5 blue coins in a row.
This would make an epic comeback if he's able to pull this off. Are we going to see it 5 times in a row?
Wow.
This is just how we play.
Trynet's going to do the best he can here. He knows what he's up against. He knows what he has to deal with the Ockfist deck. He has gotten to know it thoroughly here. DrGrrrr once again is going to be in full control of a round 2, another deep round 2 perhaps. I mean, DrGrrrr probably in some ways is a little exhausted of this as well because you have to make a lot of decisions to go deep as DrGrrrr has been going in round 2. It's a tough position for both players, but ultimately trynet is obviously showing a little bit more exasperation, which is fair.
Both players have to be mentally taxed here. They've been playing Gwent all day at this point. The fatigue has to be setting in. They're in the finals. This is the last game to decide who's going home with the belt, who's going home with the glory. Let's see if they got it in them to hold it together for one more game.
Joe, this is no exaggeration when we say all day. We're talking AM to AM. We're talking about the longest streamed tournament in Gwent's history, and we're including Challenger 1, which did its entire event in a single day. Yeah, this has been a marathon for everybody involved, and we are here in Game 5 of the finals, and I know the audience is happy to be here as well. Going here into Game 5, I don't know if you guys can hear it on my mic.
Anything but a tie here. Anything but a tie here.
Anything but a tie, please.
So, I mean, are we going to start setting up long-term value, or are we going boats again?
It's gonna be Bear Masters to get things started here, but boats are gonna be played. Ockfists are gonna be played.
Ockfists will be played.
But DrGrrrr with another premium hand, all 4 golds once again. Trynet would be persevering against all odds to win this one. DrGrrrr would be failing 3 times with a very interesting deck that has gotten him a lot of success all day, and it's not the first time he's had 4 golds in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, the gold package has been providing value. It just hasn't been quite enough to get there. Particularly last round, he was down a card, so that's more than understandable. And the Scoia'tael player, Trynet, had thinned his deck super low and put together a very powerful, I believe it was a 6-card hand versus the 5 cards of DrGrrrr.
Yeah, I mean, he just got so much work done in the short round with the elves and with the buffs. Saskia being able to make his hand a little bit better. And even holding on to Yorveth, it didn't really hurt him that much. He was still able to do it, though, with the card that he was able to secure by staying ahead. DrGrrrr going really, really deep. How deep is DrGrrrr going to go here? When is he going to pull the trigger on Ockfist?
I don't know. I'm starting to think that he might not go super deep because he hasn't developed any of those light longships yet, and he's looking at the Pirate Captain in his hand.
And at this point, is being ahead, I mean, it's tough, right? You're going up against big, big engines at all times. The triple Enforcer, triple Brigade deck that Trynet is running is very, very threatening. DrGrrrr needs to basically allocate all of his resources. How is he going to deal with each engine piece? How is he going to prevent it from beating him in a long round 3 or a short round 3?
Yeah, I think maybe part of the plan would be to sort of split it up here. Nilfgaard is great in a long round, but if you can sort of get them to commit a bunch of their engine pieces and then pass, to not let them get the full value out of them, when then they have to move to the next round with maybe 2 or 3 of these engine pieces left. When they're all on the board in the same round, it's very, very potent. And the Skellige deck doesn't have a ton of ways to get them off the board like we saw with the Alchemy list.
Wonder how Muzzle's going to find a home here. Wouldn't it be just poetic to actually nab that Ockfist at some point? If there was a way to do it. I mean, we've seen a lot of heals come out, but the Enforcers would be able to just keep pushing into Ockfist.
Yeah, they'll be able to obliterate it, and if he ever gets in real trouble, we're looking at a triple Infiltrator and Menno hand here. So the Menno will put the Ockfist back into the graveyard, restart the timer. We do see access to restore here, but is that really the direction this game's going to take?
I mean, DrGrrrr has constructed this deck so Croc always pulls Ockfist, so it is actually, I mean, it would be really something if that proved to ultimately be a liability with the double Enforcers here. If there's no way of actually taking care of the Enforcers, knocking them out, how do you play Ockfist when you can only heal it enough times? The Enforcers can just make that a great muzzle pick, And this may actually be DrGrrr's hardest matchup with this deck, and he's already been struggling in the other matchups.
It very well might be, and I was actually halfway expecting a pass there, as this is where the Spy deck starts to turn the corner. They now have 3 engine pieces on the board. All of their plays are so magnified. It does look like we're going to see the muzzle come out here, taking over that light longship.
It looks like that scenario isn't going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go down like this. But taking the light longship is two-pronged here.
Yep.
It's going to develop long-term value for trynet once he starts playing units next to it, and it could potentially brick one of the resurrection effects in DrGrrr's deck. So I think it's a good move here.
Wouldn't be the first time we've seen a bricked Corsair from DrGrrrr so far. He did have to deal with that in one of the other games, and that was a close game as well. That actually did kind of there was a huge turning point there as well.
Yeah, the average points on cards is so high these days that if you miss and you have a bricked card that's essentially a blank, it is a very hard disadvantage to overcome.
And trynet seems like he's ready to play the value game all day long.
Here comes the Okfist.
There's the Okfist. So it looks like we're setting up for at least another 3 rounds here. DrGrrrr is willing to go a little bit deeper here, up against 3 and now 4 engines with the longship. As the Vikram Paramedic's going to be coming down to grab another emissary, keep things going here out of trynet deck, keep thinning, keep getting access to everything he needs. I do believe there's a second emissary in the deck here,
yeah,
so
he picked
more
it
buffs.
Quick.
More buffs from the engines, more pings from the enforcers, and now a 3rd enforcer, brigade, ship. Not putting anything next to the ship, however.
No, he is not, and he's able to kill that Okfist in a one-shot. This is very, very powerful here. I don't know that we're going to see the restore on it. Is this where DrGrrrr consider starting to give up the round? I mean, every single spy placed on the other side of the board is plus 8 points. Infiltrators are coming down at 18-point bronzes. This is going to be pretty scary.
I mean, what do you do on either side of this? DrGrrrr has to either take he's got to deal with engines one way or another. It's just, are you really able to tap out all the resources from trynet? He does have the triple infiltrator and the Menno potential here, and he has a brigade that he can play 6 spies already on the board, and it looks like he's going to develop a 5th engine, potentially a 6th. Depending on if that ship is going to actually start ticking on his side, and it is going to go next to the ship. 6 engines ticking. What is DrGrrrr going to do here? He's in big trouble.
Well, it's interesting. If DrGrrrr chooses to pass now, he's going to have to accept the fact that he's down a card, but he does know from previous matchups that there's a Kier in trynet's deck. The Calvate hasn't come down yet, so that Calvate can essentially act as a brick or a forced mulligan even. He might just have to get rid of it, which starts to make that option look appealing here. It does not look like he's going to pass. It should be to no one's surprise here. And it looks like we're going to see the Udalric come down.
Well, he's going to try to get a card back at the very least here.
I mean, it's fairly likely to work. Well, we're looking at 7 cards left in the deck. Calvate's going to see, almost half of the remaining cards in the deck. This is very important whether it hits Cantarella or Rainfarn into Cantarella here.
Calvate into Rainfarn into Cantarella is exactly what's happening here.
That's just what the doctor ordered if you're a trynet fan here.
Not what DrGrrrr ordered.
No, it is not what DrGrrrr
sent that order back.
Yeah, he is not super happy to see that one. And that takes away the ability to have the brick here as well. What are you hoping for if you're DrGrrrr here? How do you try and turn this into a winning situation?
I mean, outside of just trying to play your highest tempo plays at like everything you can possibly do to try to get ahead here, but I mean, you just can't do it. Triple enforcer, double brigade, ships are ticking.
Yeah, you're down 18 points. It's too many engines on the board.
DrGrrrr is, you have to accept that he's down a card, and that's it. What is basically low priority at this point? What is not going to help him in round 3? The Clan Protector, keeps things going here. At least he's just trying to get more resources out of trynet. But I mean, these triple infiltrators, each of these infiltrators represents so much, and he can play 2 of them and hold one from Menno and still get so much value out of them because of the enforcers and the brigades ticking. Each of these infiltrators is representing an additional 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. These are 20-point infiltrators.
Yeah, they are up there. That is crazy. It's the best infiltrator I've seen in a very long time. and look at the Menno. The Menno is going to be insane in this deck. I mean, he's got Sirinova and Olaf as 2 gigantic targets. If he can maintain card advantage here, the Menno might just be enough to finally slam the door.
DrGrrr's had it.
We're down to 1 round of Gwent here, guys, to decide the champion of the Wild Hunt tournament. This is the last round. DrGrrr down a card. trynet looking to try and overcome 5 blue coins in a row. Can he pull it out?
We have been on a long road, and we are here now. Can I get some noise from the studio, my friends? It is round 3 of the final game of the finals. The belt awaits. Is it going to be trynet persevering through through a 5 blue coin best of 5. Is it DrGrrrr finally getting a win with a very creative Octopus Skellige deck? This is it. This is the end of the road for every player here at this point. We're all watching. It's been a long day. I hope you're all with us here. Also, good morning in Europe. If you got up and you're having your coffee here, we're still going.
Yeah,
and
we
you
didn't
tuned
start
in at
over
a great
this the same
time.
tournament. All right, so he's got one engine piece left here, which is going to give a little bit of additional value to those infiltrators. The Kalak looks good here. I mean, this hand is fairly solid. You're very, very likely to hit the Joachim as well. This sort of looks like everything trinet's looking for in a hand.
Well, it's just typical by Nilfgaard. You get to source everything out of your deck.
Yes.
You get to see anything you need. Really, it's just no fail rate, and you have the 4 cards left. You know that K here is going to let you see almost all of them.
Well, I mean, with the Emissary on Kalak, you will see exactly what you need to see. And at this point, trynet is just kind of formulating what he's capable of at this point. So we no longer have to think about passes. We no longer have to think about tempo. This game becomes about sequencing and min-maxing to get the absolute most value you can out of each and every card here. The Mandrake might find a home against the Joachim if it comes down. You know, if the Joachim comes down early enough, it depends what the last play from trinet's going to be. Is he going to save the Menno to try and be as greedy as possible with it, or is he going to save the Kier for the Joachim, fearing the potential of the Mandrake? I mean, it could really go either way. I think that all of these plays, I mean, between the K here into Joachim or the Menno play after the Infiltrator on the biggest unit, I mean, both of these are very good ending plays here. You know, Spies usually have one of these tools available to close things out. Trynet has both of those tools. DrGrrrr has his Mammoth gold cards as well. Once again, the Restore is likely going to go into a Bearmaster, I believe. This is probably the top end of the value at this point. That looks likely to me. Yeah, I would assume that's where we're going with it. Oh, could it be a Pirate Captain? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a Bearmaster. Okay. So the Bearmasters hit the table, and yeah, he's just going to have to slam down his points and hope for the best here. Maybe if he gets really good Mandrake value, he has a shot to fight off being down that extra card here. I think it's mostly about the sequencing of Trynet here. This might be his game to lose. He's going to have 2 Infiltrate. He's going to still have 2 engine pieces ticking after all of this, and he still is going to be able to play 3 additional Spies. Trynet setting up success. DrGrrrr doing his best with his mountain of points once again in his hand. 20-point Olaf, potentially 20 points, 22 points Theory Nova, and there's what happened to Okfist? Did I miss something? What did happen to the Okfist? That is the dead Phoenix there. That is a dead Phoenix? That's real bad. That is real bad. That does not look good. Okfist has made his final appearance. The Asira happened. The Asira happened, yes. That's a good one. That's I think I may have looked away for a second there. Oh boy, DrGrrrr has his work cut out for him. He really does here. I mean, you just look at the plays here. I mean, Olaf and Theory Nova are huge. Mandrake is going to be okay, but that Infiltrator proccing those brigades, Joachim rocking the brigades as well, and of course Joachim can be later, can happen after the last card. I think probably Joachim is the best last card play here if you're putting DrGrrrr on the Mandrake. Yeah, and you've seen it in his deck before, so I agree with that. Olaf went Berserker, but it looks like he might be taken down by a Menno here. This is troubling if you're a DrGrrrr fan. You're even on cards up a couple of points, but you sense what's coming here. It is looking a little on the bleak side, but you know, we're just going to let this play out. It has been a long day. These are the final plays of Wild Hunt Philadelphia, this has been a great event. We've really enjoyed ourselves over the course of the day, and it's really been great to see everything come together. I think that this event was put together really well. I was very pleasantly surprised by the production, and the vibe in this place has been great. Hopefully, North American Gwent has been very well represented as these 2 great players have really put on a show here, especially Trynet against the eyes here as Menno comes down to roast Olaf. Mandrake is just sequenced it. He sequenced it really good. Mandrake is just going to take out a brigade, and K here is going to get Joachim, which is going to ultimately pull. Well, we're going to see. We have to hope there's another unit left in the deck for him to pull, right? I mean, there's no potential that it's blank. There is a Vanamar. So there goes the Mandrake. You only need a few points here, just a few points. This Vanamar, is the Kahir. Right? I think he knows he's got it. He's going for it really fast here. Yeah, it's Vanamar. That is the unit that's going to be pulled here. Trynet making the blue coin look like nothing. He is your Wild Hunt champion. Congratulations to Trynet.
That is it. We are going to hear the words from the Silent Knight as he was just walking away like, what just happened? The tail is not going to be the blue coin ruining his odds here. He made it work with 5 open passes in a row. trynet taking down DrGrrrr, who went through 2 reverse sweeps, taking out the #1 seed in the top 8, Vishra. I mean, the narrative was fantastic. I mean, it feels like one of the older Gwent tournaments where every single series got more and more exciting.
It just kept getting more and more epic over time. We had so many great storylines to follow. We had reverse sweeps. We had people coming out of nowhere, dark horses, getting to the finals that we hadn't seen on stream before. This tournament really did have